Here is the second part of the 8th race of the 2005 Piston Cup season, where I would surprisingly lead the first 195 laps of the race. I don't really know how, but while I was in the lead, Aiken Axel would have an engine failure on lap 23, followed up by Kevin Carvick having a 25-second lead on lap 53, and Chick Hicks would wreck these cars on lap 91, and then his brother John would wreck Dave Laney and Travis Graffville on lap 143. But unfortunately, the crash is so bad on these two that now they're out for the rest of the season, and John Hicks will be suspended for the rest of the season because of what he did to the two cars. James Queener would take the lead on lap 195 and lead for about 40 laps before Casey Corner would take the lead from him, and lead for just one lap before Lightning McQueen would take the lead from him, leading into lap 254, where Chick Hicks would bump him out of the way and then take the lead for himself, leading into lap 297, and despite still being the lead, he'd still wreck Michael Cartwright on lap 266. Then Lucas 95 would shove Chick Hicks on lap 297 and take the lead for himself, leading into lap 336, where Chick Hicks would shove me, Lucas, and Lightning on lap 336. This caused all three of us to go down a lap. And then Chick Hicks would take back the lead and lead into lap 348. Then I would say this to Lucas and Lightning. And all three of us would get back onto the lead lap on lap 347, where Sonic EXC would say that he's not finishing 7th again. And then he shoved Chick Hicks a lap after leading the other two got back on the lap. Then he took the lead for himself, leading until for one lap before Chick Hicks would shove Sonic EXC on back, and then Kurt Busch would shove Sonic EXC on lap 349, and then Sonic OMT would say this, and then he would shove Kurt Busch on lap 349, and then Kurt Busch would push Sonic EXC and Sonic OMT into the wall on the second with one to go, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. would push Kurt Busch and Chick Hicks into the wall with one to go. And here's an image of the chaos happening on the last lap, or the second to last lap, I should say. But then Sonic OMT would hit the wall and then wreck himself and Sonic EXC without being out on the final lap. And then Chick Hicks would give Kurt Busch the bump and run on the final lap, causing Kurt Busch to go airborne. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. surprisingly managed to avoid all of this. Chick Hicks would go for the lead on the final lap, but then Dale Earnhardt Jr. would bump him. The racer that was in the lead during all of this was the King, who would take the lead on the last lap and win the 2005 Vitoline 350, getting his 200th career victory, making him the first ever Piston Cup racer to win 200 races. Lightning McQueen would finish second this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. third, not 10th. Lucas 95 finishes fourth. I'd finish fifth. Casey Corner would finish sixth. James Cleanair 7th in his first race of his final season. Sage Vanderspin would get his best finish yet, I believe, finishing 8th. Chick Hicks would finish 9th. And Sonic EXC did not finish 7th. He finished worse, finishing 10th. For those who are wondering about Sonic OMT, he finished 11th. Ken Schrader would be the last car to finish on the lead lap this race, finishing 39th. And here are the results of the race. I already mentioned the top 10. With the two Sonic brothers somehow not being out, despite the fact they wrecked out. Jeff Gorvette will finish right behind them in 12th. Greg Candyman will finish 13th. Tony Gassworth 14th. And Kevin Carvick will round out the top 15. Winford Bradford Rutherford will finish 16th, then Ricky Slud and Elliott Drafts come behind him, followed by Rusty Wheelhouse, and Jeff Burton rounds out the top 20. Mark Carton comes 21st, Dale Carr 22nd, Jeremy Carfield will finish 23rd, Kyle Busch will finish 24th this race, and Casey Gears will finish behind him in 25th. Maury Clutchburn will finish 26th this race, followed by Jailbreak Chick, Jamie McCarry, Ernie Gearson, and Misty Votercrass running at the top 30. Greg People had a disappointing race, finishing 31st. Billy Oil Changer will finish 32nd. Carl Edwards 33rd, right behind his teammate, ahead of his teammate Matt Karzeth. Bobby Carboni managed to finish the race today, finishing 35th. Eugene Karbareski, who didn't get into a collide with Ken Schrader today, will finish in the same position as number 36. Sterling Carlin and Kevin Schiffer will finish right behind him in 37th and 38th respectively. Ken Schrader is the last racer that finished the race, finishing 39th. And here are the last few racers that didn't finish the race. Kurt Busch-Hardue to going airborne will finish only 40th, right above Michael Cartrip, and Travis Graffville and Dave Laney won't be racing again for the rest of the season, sadly. And Johnny Blamer failed to finish the race. Ward Burnton also had a disappointing race in his first race of the season. Ryan Shields is right there with him in 46. Hall Lingus is in 47th. He had a pretty bad day too. And here at the bottom, with John Hicks getting disqualified because of what he did to two racers. Aiken Axler in his second start of the season is now in debt, second to last place, and Ruby Nightcar is in 48th. Unfortunately, her bad season continues. Well, that will do it for this race. Next race will be the New York 400, so stay tuned for that race.